A quiet neighborhood was turned upside down when a determined mother uncovered the shocking truth about a man who deceived her family in the worst way imaginable. It wasn't just her heart he broke, he left her daughter devastated too. This con man charmed his way into their lives, but his lies unraveled when they realized he had been hiding a dark secret. Fueled by anger and an unshakable sense of justice, this mother set out on a relentless mission to track him down. What she discovered along the way would change everything. Just when it seemed like justice might slip through her fingers, she made a bold decision no one saw coming. Was it revenge or was it redemption? Stick around as we uncover the incredible story of a mother's unbreakable resolve, the deception that tore her family apart, and the lengths she went to protect those she loves most. The story began innocently enough. He seemed kind, charming, and attentive. Her daughter thought she'd found someone who truly cared, someone who understood her. The mother, wary at first, started to believe he might actually be the real deal. But as time went on, little cracks started to show. Small lies, unexplained disappearances, and vague answers hinted that something wasn't right. The turning point came when the daughter discovered she was pregnant, expecting the man she trusted to step up and take responsibility. Instead, he vanished without a trace. Heartbroken and furious, the mother couldn't stand by and watch her daughter suffer alone. Determined to uncover the truth, she began piecing together the puzzle. What she found left her stunned. He wasn't just a liar, he had a long history of manipulating women and leaving chaos behind. The deeper she dug, the darker the truth became, fueling her determination to confront him. The mother's investigation quickly became an obsession. She combed through social media, dug into old records, and even reached out to other women who had crossed paths with this man. What she uncovered was a shocking trail of deceit. He had a pattern moving from town to town, charming his way into women's lives, and disappearing once things got serious. But this time, he had made a mistake. The mother found clues he hadn't bothered to cover up, an old phone number, a name he had used before, and even a past address. As she pieced it together, her daughter struggled with a mix of heartbreak and guilt. She couldn't believe she'd fallen for his lies, and she blamed herself for not seeing the signs. But the mother knew better. This wasn't just about her family anymore. It was about stopping him before he hurt someone else. With each discovery, her anger grew, but so did her determination. The mother's search finally led her to a small town a few hours away. She had traced his recent activity through a series of odd connections. An old job he'd left abruptly, and a woman who remembered him renting a room. Every step felt like she was getting closer, but her emotions were all over the place. Anger, worry, and even doubt crept in. What if he disappeared again before she could find him? What if he refused to face what he had done? Meanwhile, her daughter wrestled with whether confronting him was even the right thing to do. What if it made things worse? But the mother wouldn't back down. She contacted someone who had also been tricked by him, a woman with her own story of betrayal. Together, they pulled what they knew, filling in gaps and painting a clearer picture of the man they were dealing with. Then one night, the mother got a tip that he was staying at a rundown motel. Heart racing, she drove there, replaying everything in her mind. As she approached the door, she paused, realizing this was it, the moment everything could change. But what would she find when she opened that door? As the mother stood outside the motel door, her hands trembled, not with fear, but with the weight of what she was about to do. She knocked firmly, and the sound echoed down the dimly lit hallway. A few moments passed before the door creaked open, revealing him, caught completely off guard. For a second, he froze, and she saw the flicker of recognition in his eyes. But what shocked her even more was the faint sound of a baby crying from inside the room. Her heart sank. This wasn't just about her daughter anymore. Pushing past him, she stepped into the room, and what she saw confirmed her worst fears. A young woman sat on the edge of the bed, cradling an infant. Her face showed the same mix of confusion and pain her daughter had once worn. The man tried to smooth-talk his way out of it, but the mother wasn't having any of it. She turned to the young woman, asking questions, piecing together a new, even darker side to his deception. This wasn't just a one-time pattern. This man was leaving shattered families everywhere he went. The stakes were higher now, and the mother realized this wasn't just about confronting him. She had to expose him. But how far was she willing to go, and would this young woman join her in seeking justice? The confrontation wasn't over, but neither was the story. Something even more shocking was about to unfold. The tension in the room was unbearable as the mother turned her full attention to the man. She demanded answers, her voice steady but laced with anger. He tried to spin another web of lies, claiming it was all a misunderstanding, but the young woman on the bed interrupted him. Tearfully, she revealed her own story. How he promised her a future, only to abandon her once their baby was born. The mother and the young woman exchanged a knowing look, both realizing they were dealing with someone who would never take responsibility for the damage he'd caused. But just as the mother thought she had him cornered, there was a knock at the door. A man stepped in, introducing himself as a private investigator hired by another woman from a different town. She, too, had been deceived by the same man and was ready to press charges. The mother and the investigator shared evidence, solidifying a case against him that was impossible to ignore. The man's smug facade finally cracked as he realized there was no way out this time. As the authorities arrived to take him into custody, the mother looked back at the young woman and her baby, feeling a bittersweet sense of victory. But as she left the motel, her phone buzzed with a message. Another woman, in yet another town, had just reached out. The truth was finally catching up to him, but the ripples of his actions were far from over. It wasn't the ending she'd expected, but it was a start, a chance for justice and healing. In the days that followed, the mother reflected on everything that had unfolded. While the man was finally facing the consequences of his actions, she knew the scars he had left behind would take time to heal. She stayed in touch with a young woman from the motel, offering support and encouragement as she began rebuilding her life with her baby. Her daughter, too, started to find strength in knowing she wasn't alone and that her story had helped expose the truth. The mother's relentless determination had brought justice, but it also brought an important lesson: the power of standing up, not just for yourself, but for others who've been hurt. As word of his arrest spread, more women came forward, ensuring his cycle of manipulation would end for good. Though the journey had been painful, it became a testament to resilience and the lengths a mother will go to protect those she loves.